When a brave little girl discovers the right call to save her mother, 1 billion hearts are touched. In a small suburban town where neighborly kindness flowed like lemonade on a hot summer day, there lived an indomitable spark of energy named Lily. At just 10 years old, she seemed to radiate sunshine, lighting up every corner of her community, especially for her mother, Sarah. A single parent working tirelessly at the local diner, Sarah's warm smile often hid the struggles of a chronic illness and climbing bills. But to Lily, her mother was a superhero, and their tiny home crackled with laughter, even through the toughest moments. But one chilly morning, everything shifted. Lily sat in the diner's bustling booth, where laughter and the clinking of plates danced in the air. Her heart raced as she heard whispers of trouble. The diner might close. A shame after all these years. The word struck her like a thunderclap. She held her breath, trying to absorb it all, unaware of the full weight on her mother's shoulders. The diner was their lifeline, the heart of their community, and a job that kept Sarah fighting through the storm. That night, as the stars twinkled like hopes yet to be realized, Lily's thoughts wandered to her grandfather's tales of resilience. "You can change the world, kiddo," he'd say with a glint in his eye. Those words ignited a fire in her. She couldn't let the diner vanish. Her mind raced. With a fierce determination, she decided to host Diner Day, celebrating not just good food but the stories and hearts shared in its cozy booths. But the road wasn't smooth. A rival at school, a girl named Claire, sneered at Lily, declaring her family didn't belong in their picture-perfect community. Those words pierced deep, tugging at her insecurities. The weight of judgment felt heavy, but Lily couldn't let that stop her. She wanted to show they mattered. For her mom. Questions raced in her mind about belonging and worth. Just when everything felt like it was falling apart, a kind neighbor, Miss Betty, approached Lily. With twinkling eyes and a knowing smile, she offered her help. "We've all struggled, dear. Let us unite this community, one plate at a time." Together, they drew up plans with fervor, crafting a tapestry of love and support decorated with hope. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the day of Diner Day drew closer, bubbling excitement mixed with anxiety. Mrs. Hughes from down the block smiled warmly, but insecurity gnawed at Lily. Would they come? Could one small girl really make a difference in the face of it all? The diner lights dimmed, and the first guests arrived. She took a deep breath, heart racing in her chest. Could she truly rally their love and spirit? What if the diner's left empty? Lily stood at the entrance, a sea of faces making her chest tighten. Would love prevail? As the clock inched closer to the hour of Diner Day, Lily stood outside the diner, a mix of excitement and dread swirling in her belly. The familiar sounds of laughter and conversation echoed from inside, light spilling out like a beacon against the chilly dusk. "This is it," she whispered to herself, her palms sweaty against the faded flyer for the event she had created with Miss Betty. "This is our moment." Body clenched with anticipation, Lily glanced down the street. People ambled closer, families, friends, neighbors curious about the buzz. She could see Mrs. Hughes and her children approaching, laughter ringing out like a bell. Then the Thompsons from 2 houses over, their arms filled with baked goods to donate. Each familiar face gave her courage, pushing her fears back momentarily. "Hey, Lily!" A cheerful voice called from across the sidewalk. It was her friend Max, bouncing his usual energy through their small town. "Is this really going to save your mom? The diner?" His brow furrowed, but his smile never wavered. "It has to," Lily replied, her voice steady, though inside her heart thundered. "This diner is the heart of our town." She clutched the flyer tighter, feeling its edges dig into her skin, a reminder of their communal hope. Inside, the diner was a flurry of activity. Tables were set, plates piled high with Mrs. Hughes cookies, and the sweet smell of fried dough drifted through the air. Folks shuffled in, greeting each other, sharing stories, and coalescing around dear memories made within these walls. Lily realized she was not just fighting for her mother, she was fighting for a piece of their community's soul. As the doors swung open wider, a wave of warmth embraced her, and she felt her worries ease a little. Miss Betty stood by the counter, serving up plates with a wink, encouraging stories to flow and laughter to ring. The diner's charm transformed as happy chatter filled the air, lifting Lily's spirits every time she saw a new face. She caught sight of Claire, the rival from school. For a fleeting moment, fear crept in, but then she remembered her purpose. In a bold move, Lily stepped forward, her heart racing as she approached Claire. "You believe in this town, right?" she asked, gripping her flyer like a shield. "Because I do. And we all belong here. Let's South make this place better together." Claire's eyes widened, surprise etched across her face. The moment felt heavy, suspended in time as everyone turned curious ears towards them. Would Claire sneer again or surprise her? "Yeah," Claire finally said, hesitating. "Okay." The warmth of those words spiraled into a bubble of hope around Lily. Suddenly, the doors burst open, and in walked Sarah, her mother, a mixture of weariness and love painting her features. The moment their eyes locked, a flood of reassurance washed over Lily. Sarah smiled, but she looked exhausted, the weight of their struggles clear. "Mom! You made it!" Lily rushed over, wrapping her arms around her mother's waist, breathing in the scent of her favorite vanilla perfume, feeling a sense of belonging surge within her. "Of course, I did. This is important," Sarah chuckled softly, though her eyes glinted with worry. "How's it going?" "It's amazing, Mom. Everyone's here," Lily exclaimed, heart swelling with hope. Little did she know, the hardest part of their journey was yet to unfold. As guests mingled and laughter filled the diner, a shadow shifted outside. A man in a suit observed from his car parked across the street, his gaze fixed on the heartwarming scene within the diner. His presence felt ominous, and with it came the sense that their fight was only beginning. What did he want? Lily's thoughts spun wildly, the true challenge awaited. Would the community rally together in the face of what was yet to come? The warmth of the diner created a cozy atmosphere, but a whisper of tension lingered in the air. As Lily stepped back from her mother, she stole a glance at the suited man across the street. He remained still, an unsettling figure in the twilight. She could feel a tightening in her chest, offsetting the joy of the gathering around her. "Who's that guy?" Max asked, leaning in, eyes narrowed toward the windows. "He looks shady." Lily shook her head, trying to push the thought away. "I don't know. But we have to focus on diner day. We need all the support we can get." Her voice was firmer than she felt inside, the sound of chatter and clanking dishes filled the space. Laughter bubbled up as Mrs. Hughes unveiled a giant cake adorned with candles, sending a flurry of excitement through the room. "Make a wish," she called, encouraging everyone to gather around. Lily joined the crowd, her heart bursting with love for the people who filled her life with hope. Glancing again at her mother, she noticed the moment fade from Sarah's smile, a shadow passing across her face. "Mom?" Lily stepped closer, sensing something was off. "Are you okay?" "Oh, sweetie, I'm fine." Sarah brushed it off, but a slight tremble in her voice betrayed her. Lily wanted to believe her, but doubt clawed at her thoughts. They had been through so much in recent months, and this diner meant everything to them. If it failed, what would happen to them? As she turned back to the growing crowd, the celebratory mood crackled like static electricity. "All right, everyone," called out Miss Betty, her voice powerful and reassuring. "It's time to kick off diner day. We're going to make this a day to remember." Cheers erupted from the group, lifting Lily's spirits. Feeling the energy, she stepped up on a small stool to address the crowd. Her hands trembled slightly as she clutched the microphone. "Thank you, everyone, for being here." Every face she saw filled her with strength. This diner is not just food and coffee, it's where we share our stories. It holds our memories, our laughter. Today, we're coming together as a family. A collective murmur of agreement rose, and it filled the diner with an uplifting warmth. But just as a smile broke onto Lily's face, she noticed the man in the suit move, stepping out of his car. She held her breath. Worry twisted in her gut. Sarah! Look! Lily cried out, pointing toward him. Her mother's face paled. What does he want? With heavy steps, the man approached the diner, tall and imposing. He was out of place among the cheerful townsfolk. The laughter faded, apprehension creeping into the hearts of the gathered crowd. Excuse me, folks, he said, sliding past the threshold, his voice smooth yet cold. I'm here on official business. The atmosphere soured instantly, eyes darting between him and Sarah. What kind of business? Max called out, stepping protectively in front of Lily. The man's steely gaze landed on Sarah. I represent the investment firm that holds the mortgage on this diner. It's time we discuss the future or lack thereof. A ripple of gasps spread through the crowd, punctuated by the clinking of silverware dropping to plates. Lily's heart sunk into an abyss. The fight was real. She needed a plan and quick. People murmured, anxiety weaving through them. Unable to bear the silence, Lily stepped forward, gripping the counter. You can't take this place away from us. We need it, our community needs it. It's not just a building, this diner holds our memories. Memories don't pay the bills, young lady, he replied coolly, yet something flickered in his eyes. As if her words struck a chord, Lily swallowed hard. I'll do anything. Please, just give us a chance. The room fell silent, the tension palpable. Could they sway this man? Strains of uncertainty danced at the edges of her thoughts. As she looked around at the now gleaming faces of her friends and family, a resolve began to swell within her. They couldn't let this moment slip away. What will it take? She ventured, her heart racing at the thought of the fight ahead. The man tilted his head, a glimmer of intrigue in his eyes. We'll see, but it won't be easy. Lily nodded, feeling the weight of her words. It was a beginning, maybe not the one she expected, and yet what if this was where their story truly started? Lily's heart pounded in her chest as she held the man's gaze, searching for a sign of empathy she wasn't sure existed. The crowd stood still, breaths caught, hope and fear mingling in the air like thick fog. This was her moment, but uncertainty seeped in, prickling at her resolve. What do you mean it won't be easy? She pressed, her voice stronger than before. What do you want from us? The suited man inhaled deeply, as if weighing his words carefully. You want to keep this diner? Then you'll need to raise the funds to pay off your mortgage. A lot of money. I doubt you have what it takes. Behind her, Lily could feel the collective dread of the crowd. Max clenched his fists, shooting her a look that said he believed in her but was terrified for what lay ahead. Mrs. Hughes shifted nervously, glancing at her cake as if it had suddenly lost its luster. We can do it, Lily declared, her words ringing out with determination. We just need time. The man raised an eyebrow, skepticism evident in his expression. Time costs money and I'm afraid you're already behind. You have 7 days before I initiate foreclosure proceedings. The words echoed in the diner like a tolling bell. 7 days. Panic threatened to destabilize her, but Lily refused to crumble. Thank you for the time, she muttered, swallowing the looming dread. We'll find a way. He smirked, a brief flicker of amusement in his eyes. Good luck. Then, with that, he turned and left, the door swinging shut behind him with a finality that felt like a slam. Silence enveloped the diner, the weight of despair hanging between them. But then, something shifted. A voice broke through the quiet. We can do this. It was Mrs. Hughes, eyes alight with fierce spirit. If anyone can save this diner, it's us. A wave of agreement rippled through the gathered townsfolk, rekindling flickers of hope. Lily turned and saw her mother standing not far away, her expression now filled with determination rather than fear. We've faced challenges before, Sarah called out, her voice gaining strength. We won T back down. Emboldened, Lily climbed atop the stool again, this time feeling the electric buzz of support around her. Let us brainstorm ideas. Fundraisers, bake sales, whatever it takes. We won T, let this diner slip through our fingers. Enthusiasm sparked among the crowd as they began to share ideas, laughter and chatter bloomed back to life, enthusiasm defying the storm that threatened to crush them. Lily looked around, her heart warming as they rallied together, people she loved and treasured. Ideas floated through the air like confetti. A car wash. Someone shouted. A talent show. Another suggested. As the din of excitement rose, Lily caught her mother's eye. They shared a smile, a silent pact to fight together. But in that moment of joy, a wave of doubt threatened to crash over her. Could they really gather the funds they needed in time? Each second counted, the hours slipped away as plans evolved into action, and the diner thrummed with the energy of purpose. They would hustle and fight for what mattered. As the night wore on, Lily felt an unshakable fire sparkle in her chest, a plague of courage rising, just as excitement peaked. However, a shadow fell once more as she caught sight of the suited figure lurking in the distance, watching, waiting. What was he really planning? Her heart slowed as a chill wrapped around her. This wasn't just a business deal for him. This was personal. What if he had a trick up his sleeve? Would they be able to outsmart him before time ran out? Lily's mind raced, the suited man's presence sending a shiver down her spine. This wouldn't just be about raising funds, it was a battle of wits. She turned back to her friends and family, determined to rally them despite her growing unease. All right, everyone, let us get to work. She called, her resolve hardening like steel. We don't have any time to waste. The ideas flowed freely, each one more ambitious than the last. How about a yard sale? Someone shouted. We could sell old items and anything we don't need. Great idea. We can set up a booth outside the diner, Max chimed in, his excitement palpable. Just as people began brainstorming new ideas, Mrs. Hughes raised her hand. What if I bake my famous pies? We could sell them too. Everyone burst into laughter, the sound like a salve to Lily's nagging doubt. Perfect. We can have a pie-eating contest as part of the fundraiser. Lily suggested, her smile wide. The laughter became contagious, their fears bubbling up and bursting away with each new plan. But as the sun set outside the diner, casting long shadows across the warm wooden floor, doubt lingered like an unwelcome guest. How much do we really need? Lily's mother asked, her brows furrowed with concern. Lily took a breath. He didn't say exactly, but I think we can assume it's at least, well, several $1,000s. The figures loomed large in her mind, and yet she stood taller amongst her friends. We can do it. She affirmed, but deep down she quaked at the thought of failing them. That night, the diner transformed into a headquarters. Tables filled with old toys, clothes, and handmade crafts sprang up everywhere. The chatter of collaboration hummed in the air like a symphony of determination. Do we have enough volunteers for the car wash? Lily asked, scanning the crowd. Hands shot up, faces beaming with optimism. Count me in. A familiar voice called from the back. It was Tommy, her childhood friend. He had always been her supporter and knight. In his grin, she found encouragement. As the excitement continued well into the night, Lily and her mother devised a routine for pie making and organizing sales. They didn't need schedules, so everyone could chip in while still living their lives. Support flooded in, people they only waved to before now offered to help in all sorts of ways. It felt like coming together for a common purpose, a force unstoppable, like steam rolling across the plains, yet as laughter erupted in one corner, the ominous shadow of the suited man lingered in her mind. If he had a trick, they had to think fast. Just as they settled into a rhythm, a moment of silence fell over the diner, and the front door creaked open. Lily turned, heart racing. There he was again. Back already? She started, feeling the courage spill from her mouth. But instead of a response, he stepped inside, a confident smile on his lips. His eyes flicked around the room, taking in the bustling activity. "Just wanted to see how things were going," he said, an edge of mockery in his tone. The crowd stiffened, the laughter dying out as tension filled the air like static. What was he really after? "Is that a threat?" Lily challenged bravely, her fist clenched, heart pounding. He chuckled softly, a predator in her presence. "I'd say it's a warning. Best of luck, little girl." As he turned to leave, uncertainty washed over them. The staircase of fear creaked beneath the echo of his departing footsteps. Could their determination match the man behind the suit? Would they reveal a unity strong enough to fight against him? And just like that, Lily felt a swirl of competition ignite within her. This time, they did not just battle for the diner, they did battle for each other. But was that enough? Time was running out, and with every tick of the clock, the stakes grew higher. What were the stakes if the suited man had a card he hadn't yet played? The tension stretched thin as Lily stood frozen in the diner, the door's creak still echoing in her ears. She could practically feel the weight of the suited man's words pressing down like a heavy fog. But around her, the laughter and hustle of her friends and family buzzed on, a vibrant contradiction to the fear creeping into her thoughts. "All right," she called, raising her hands to gather attention. Her voice cut through the murmurs. "Let us not let him get to us. We're here for a reason, and we have work to do." The atmosphere shifted slightly. Faces that had tightened under worry now brightened as determination replaced doubt. Tommy stepped closer, his presence reassuring. "Show him what a small town can do when we come together," he said, his eyes gleaming with promise. With renewed vigor, the group dove back into planning. Lily felt a spark ignite her spirit. They were crafting a tapestry of hope, each idea woven into a stronger bond. Youth groups selling lemonade, local bands volunteering to play at their fundraiser, and residents bringing in heirlooms for the sale. As days turned to mornings full of laughter, the diner transformed. It was no longer just a restaurant, it was a hub of activity, a beacon of community spirit. Lily savored every moment, mixing the sweet aroma of pies with the unbeatable energy of friends working side by side, yet, each time she focused on the bright future ahead, her thoughts slipped back to that man. The warning lingered like a dark cloud. Her heart raced with anxiety, but she shook it off as she tossed flour into the air. Then came an unexpected twist. One night, during a late pie-making session, a knock sounded at the diner door. The town's mayor stood there, an inviting smile on his face. "I heard about your efforts and want to help," he announced, holding up a check that turned Lily's heart inside out. "We'll match every dollar earned at your fundraiser," he continued, "and additionally, I'm calling in favors from local businesses. We want to make this the biggest event of the year." The crowd erupted in cheers, and hope pooled in their hearts like warm sunshine. With energy bursting from every corner, they planned a festival complete with games, contests, and a stage for local acts. As they spread the word, anticipation thrummed in the air. Lily worked from dawn till dusk, feeling each day turn the tide a little more in their favor, but the clock ticked on. Every moment carved closer to the deadline, and the looming presence of the suited man continued to shadow her thoughts. What was he planning? Was this all too good to be true? Would their festival outshine his dark intentions, or would he unveil a trick they weren't prepared for? Just as Lily began to feel the weight of expectations, she caught a glimpse of Tommy leaning against the counter, a serious expression on his face. "Are we really going to beat him?" he asked, concern etched in his voice. His question hit her like a wave. "We have to," she whispered fiercely, eyes sparkling with determination. "We're not just doing this for the diner. We're showing that hope wins." Yet deep down, doubt rooted in her mind. What if hope wasn't enough? What if they couldn't muster the strength needed when the final moments arrived? As the night wore on and excitement buzzed around her, a voice whispered in her ear, begging her to confront her fears. She mentally steeled herself. If the suited man had a card to play, she needed to be ready. The festival was now just days away. Would the community pull together strong enough to shield against the storm that awaited? Would they stand firm, shoulder to shoulder, ready for whatever came next? When Lily finally stood at the festival gates, she knew one thing for certain: they were about to find out just how powerful unity could be. And as she watched her friends and family prepare, a flicker of apprehension danced in her chest. What awaited them on that crucial day could change everything. Would they truly be ready? The morning of the festival dawned bright and clear, sunlight spilling over the small town like warm honey. Lily felt a nervous flutter in her stomach as she arrived at the diner, the familiar scents of cinnamon and fresh coffee wrapping around her like a comforting embrace. Yet, today felt different. Today was a battleground. As she stepped inside, she was met with the sight of friends and family bustling, tying balloons to fences and setting up tables draped in colorful cloth. The energy was electric, a beautiful mosaic of shared hope and laughter. Lily smiled, taking a moment to soak it all in, but what lay just beneath the surface was an undercurrent of tension she couldn't ignore. "Lily!" called out Megan, waving her over. "You have to see this." She rushed to a makeshift stage, where local bands were rehearsing, laughter and sounds of guitars combining with the cheerful chatter around them. "Wow! It's incredible," Lily said, genuinely impressed. Each band was stronger than the last, and the joy of their music filled the air. Was this really happening? A festival born from hope, unity, and courage, but as she clapped and cheered, her mind flickered back to the suited man. Where was he? His shadow loomed larger than ever today, and no amount of music could chase it away. She pushed the thought aside, reminding herself of Tommy's words. They were here to show the power of community. As the morning rolled into afternoon, more faces appeared, townsfolk she'd known all her life, strangers united by purpose. The enthusiasm was palpable, conversations weaving through the air like an intricate dance. People were carrying in baked goods, donated items, and old photographs, pieces of history meant to tell their collective story, but just after lunch, the atmosphere shifted. Several people froze mid-laugh, eyes falling on a figure standing at the festival's edge, a silhouette cast against the late afternoon sun. The suited man. Lily's heart raced. There he stood, arms crossed, surveying the scene with a smirk that sent a shiver down her spine. It wasn't just a presence, it was a threat, like dark clouds rolling in just as she thought the sun would shine all day. Whispers rippled through the crowd, worry blooming in faces that were once bright with joy. "Everyone, stay focused," she called out, her voice a beacon against the growing tension. "We're here for our community. Let us not give in to fear." But the suited man merely took a step forward, his voice booming across the festival grounds. "This little shindig of yours is adorable," he sneered. "But let us be real, it won't change anything. You're just delaying the inevitable. You really think this will stop what's coming?" Lily's blood ran cold. He was trying to unsettle them. But she drew a deep breath, feeling the collective heartbeat of those around her. They wouldn't let fear take hold, not now and not here. She stepped forward, voice steadied. "You might underestimate us, but that's your mistake. Our strength lies in unity. And you won't break us." Tommy, standing just behind her, echoed her sentiment. "Yeah. We stand together or not at all. This festival isn't just an event, it's hope." The crowd ignited with renewed energy. But as cheers and applause erupted, Lily felt her resolve anchored by the weight of truth. Hope was powerful, but was it enough to counter the tension thickening in the air? As she looked at the suited man, a spark in his eyes hinted at a deeper plan. What would he unleash when he felt cornered? For the first time, doubt clawed at her heart. Would they really face the darkness ahead, and what if they weren't as united as she believed? The festival felt alive, each moment heightened with joy and determination, but the battle was far from over. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the ground, Lily wondered if they could withstand the challenge that loomed just beyond the horizon. Would the fire of their unity triumph over the encroaching darkness? Would they indeed be ready for whatever the suited man had planned? The crowd's cheers faded into a tense murmur, the music around them becoming a soft backdrop to the reality setting in. Lily felt the uncertainty hanging thick in the air, a weight pressing down on her chest. The suited man remained at the edge, an unsettling reminder of everything they stood against. "Lily." Megan pulled her back to the moment, shaking her gently. We need to keep the positivity. We can't let him ruin this. Lily nodded but felt a flicker of doubt. Megan was right, the festival was supposed to be a celebration of hope. But how could they celebrate while a storm brewed just off the horizon? She managed a smile, trying to reflect the joy radiating from her friend. Let us keep going. Lily called to the crowd. The festival isn't over. We're here to lift each other up. The music swelled again, and slowly, laughter returned. It felt fragile, like a flower poking through cracked concrete, but it was enough. Townspeople began to share stories about their histories, pulling together in this shared space even as the suited man remained like an ominous cloud hanging overhead. Suddenly, there was a commotion at the art display table. A little girl, maybe 6 or 7, had dropped her carefully decorated picture of a colorful sun. The girl's eyes widened in shock as the artwork crumpled underfoot. Lily's heart ached for her. She rushed over and knelt down next to the girl. Hey, it's okay. Look how bright it is. This sun shines so brightly. She picked up the crumpled paper and gently smoothed it out as best as she could. The girl's lips trembled, tears brimming. But as Lily held the artwork to the light, something magical happened. A glimmer of hope sparked. See? With a little care, it's still beautiful. She looked into the girl's eyes. Just like us. No matter the challenges we face, we can still shine if we hold each other up. The girl's frown transformed into a small smile, and just like that, the weight on Lily's chest shifted. Maybe hope didn't need to be grand. Maybe it was found in small actions, in lifting one another up just as her mother had always done for her. Tommy approached, noticing the scene. That was beautiful, Lil. You've got a way with people. Lily shrugged, her own heart warming. We all just need a little light sometimes, don't we? His eyes sparkled with admiration as he replied, and you just ignited a flame. Look over here. Lily turned to where he pointed. The crowd had gathered, all eyes on her as if her words had ignited a flame within them too. One by one, people started sharing their own stories of resilience, hope. The suited man remained still, but something flickered in his expression, a hint of frustration. He hadn't expected an uprising of courage. But before Lily could fully grasp the shift, the joyful noise from the crowd abruptly died down. Shadows fell across the crowd as more of the townsfolk turned towards the suited man, who had stepped forward once again. That he raised his hands, ready to drag them back into darkness. You think this display of unity will change anything? His voice dripped with disdain. You're fighting a losing battle. Lily felt the challenge in his words, the doubt creeping up again. She glanced at Tommy, who stood at her side, glaring at the man. Could their newfound spark of hope withstand the doubts he brought? Just when she thought the moment would break them, an unexpected voice rose from the crowd. A local teacher, Mrs. Jenkins. We stand together, or we don't stand at all. You don't get to decide our future. Lily's heart swelled. It wasn't just her this time. People were standing up. Had they found their voices? And was there strength in this unity? But as the suited man prepared to respond, an unfamiliar sound echoed through the air, a crashing thud that sent a ripple of panic through the festival. What was that? Someone shouted. Lily's heart raced as she turned her gaze back to the suited man. What had happened? What chaos awaited them now? The battle was about to escalate, and with it, new questions loomed. Would their unity be enough to confront this growing threat? Or would the darkness win? The crowd gasped. Fear slithered through the air as the source of the noise drew closer. Lily peered towards the edge of the festival grounds, where scattered debris marred the grassy expanse. People shifted nervously, eyes darting frantically, searching for answers. What was that? Tommy asked, his voice a little shaky. Lily felt a knot in her stomach tighten. She could almost feel the electricity sparking between uncertainty and dread, a storm brewing not just in the sky, but in the hearts of those around her. The suited man stood taller now, a smirk creeping onto his face as if he reveled in the chaos. The way to gather a crowd? Disrupt them, he seemed to think. Before she could process the mounting tension, a little girl, a familiar face, stumbled into view. It was the very girl whom she had comforted moments earlier. Her face was streaked with dirt, eyes wide with worry, but behind the fear was determination. "Lily!" she cried, her voice piercing the anxious murmur of the crowd. "I saw him. He's trying to take the festival away. He wants to ruin it." Everyone turned to the suited man, confusion morphing into outrage. It was a bold accusation, but Lily couldn't help but feel a swell of pride for the girl's bravery. Perhaps this was the spark they needed to light the fire. "That's ridiculous." The man's words dripped with contempt. "These festivities are just a distraction from reality. Change is coming, whether you like it or not." "Change?" Mrs. Jenkins snapped back. "We're the change. We're building something new." Lily stood frozen for a moment, contemplating the girl's brave words. "What do you mean, taking the festival?" she finally asked, making her way through the crowd to the girl. The little girl hugged a paint-covered canvas tightly. "I heard him talking to some men. They want to take the land, Lily. They think if they break our spirit, they can do whatever they want. But I won't let that happen." A wave of anger surged within Lily. Tension thickened the atmosphere, but alongside it was a thread of hope woven from the courage of that child. "Then we need to show them just how strong we are," Lily declared, riling the crowd back to action. "We won't just let them take our joy. We have history here, we have community." Voices erupted around her, rallying behind her words. The townspeople, emboldened by the little girl's bravery and Lily's resolve, began to chant, "We stand together. We stand together." But just as hope surged, the suited man stepped back, his expression shifting into a sinister grin. "You truly think you can win this fight?" He laughed, the sound echoing through the air. "Remember this moment," Tommy shouted, his voice rising above the noise. "This is about hope. We each have a part to play." But even as their voices rose in solidarity, an ominous shadow loomed. Suddenly, a group of men in dark clothing emerged from the tree line, their intentions clear. This confrontation was not just verbal anymore. Lily's heart raced, her breath hitching in her throat. Had they really pushed too far? Could their unity withstand this? In that moment of fear, she felt that flicker of hope once again, not just from the little girl, not just from Tommy, but from everyone around her. They had rallied together, they had lifted one another up. Would that be enough to protect what they cherished, or would the darkness drag them all back down? With the tide turning, she stepped forward, ready to confront the men advancing towards them. There was no going back now. Every heartbeat felt like thunder as the moment of truth approached, leaving her to wonder, what would happen next? The festival was now a crucible, a gathering of shared hearts ignited by hope. The suited man and his men approached, and everything seemed to slow down, like a scene unfolding in slow motion. Lily could hear the pounding of her own heart echoing in her ears, but behind that steady drum, she sensed the collective determination of those around her. "I want to let you ruin this," Lily shouted, her voice rising, cutting through the tension. "This is not just a festival. It's our festival. It's a chance for our community to stand strong together, so back off." The crowd surged with her words, emboldened by the undeniable spirit she was igniting. Cheers erupted, their backs straightening as if shielded by an unshakable wall of hope. "Make way," one of the men sneered, cracking his knuckles. But the weight of collective strength was palpable. The townsfolk held hands, creating a barrier of unity. "We don't fight with fists, we fight with our love, our memories, and our community spirit." Lily found her voice again, pulling strength from every familiar face surrounding her. Suddenly, the little girl stepped forward, paint-splattered canvas still in tow. "If you take our land, you take our memories," she yelled. "You'll never take away what we cherish. Look around. It's not just a building. It's home." The suit-clad men hesitated. A flicker of confusion danced in their eyes. They hadn't anticipated the strength of emotional resistance. And then came Sarah's voice, rising like a phoenix from the ashes of despair, strong and fierce. This diner is where my daughter learned to dream, where laughter echoed amidst the struggles. You can't just take something that means so much. Hope surged, electrifying the air. The ground hummed with strength, and the townsfolk echoed her sentiments. We want to let you take it. We stand together. They chanted, their voices melding into a powerful anthem. The suited man looked unfazed for a moment, but Lily could see his mask cracking as the determination of the community pressed in on him from all sides. He felt the energy shift, their will to fight for their loved ones was unmistakable. Just then, Max stepped forward, his voice unwavering. We have baked goods, a talent show, and a car wash. The money we earn is for our diner. That's what matters to us, and we won't stop till we've saved every memory wrapped inside. The crowd roared in agreement, filled with adrenaline and determination. Lily's heart swelled. Unity radiated in their voices. You may think you hold the power, she yelled, holding her ground. But the real power belongs to the community that refuses to give in. Out of nowhere, a sudden gust of wind blew through the festival, lifting the cheerful banners and swirling the scent of baked goods into the air. It felt like the universe itself was on their side, radiating promise and hope. The suited man, visibly rattled now, took a step back. You think this is over? You really believe your little festival means anything in the grand scheme? You'll come back to find us standing stronger, united as one, Sarah interrupted, because this is just the beginning of our fight, and you can't take that away from us. What once seemed like a looming shadow now felt more like an angry storm before sunrise. The men exchanged uneasy glances, realizing that their threats had failed to land. Lily took a deep breath. The moment felt ripe. Look around you. She shouted passionately. This diner is about love, resilience, and community, things you can't put a price on. Let this day mark the moment we stand tall. We refuse to be broken. And with those words, the thunder of the crowd surged once more. Fighting over hope, not with fists but with determination and love, became palpable in the air. The men began to slink away, their bravado wilting in the face of unwavering belief. As the tension eased and the energy shifted towards celebration, Lily felt a warmth wash over her. The crowd erupted in joy, some rushed forward to embrace her. We did it. We stood together. They cheered, their faces aglow with admiration. Tears of joy pooled in Lily's eyes as she turned to her mother. Sarah pulled her close, enveloping her in warmth. I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. This is what family is all about. In that moment, every struggle, every tear, every ounce of doubt melted away. They were a force together, and as Lily stood there, surrounded by the community she loved, she felt a radiant smile spread across her face. They had not just saved the diner. They had reignited the heart of the community, binding them in love and togetherness. As the sun began to set behind them, casting a golden glow over their small town, she knew they would continue to shine long after the last dish had been served. This was their story, a story of hope, resilience, and the unwavering power of unity. Now, it's your turn to support this channel. You need to subscribe immediately to not miss the next exclusive stories that will touch your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm that helps bring more inspiring tales. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to spread the love and inspire others. Only true fans know the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let us keep the good vibes flowing.